Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Sid Alpha and welcome to this week's Line of Sight, the exclusively Bacon Weekly News Roundup. I've been seeing a few comments every once in a while from a couple of people angry that these introductions take so long, so as a reminder, if you'd like to skip these introductions, I do put timestamps for that and timestamps leading up to each individual story in the description below. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, so I try to be respectful of that. And for those of you that are new here or haven't watched these videos yet, have you ever heard of bacon? Bacon is the greatest of foods, the paragon of meats, and the food that makes other foods worth having. Whether it be fried, baked, chopped up into bits and put on a salad as a pizza topping or in a sandwich, the extreme diversity of bacon is truly immense, and if you haven't partaken in the most perfect of not only breakfast food but of food, then your life is hereby deemed to be incomplete. Hashtag not sponsored by bacon. And with that said, and on a totally unrelated note, my personal diet is going quite well, and while I myself cannot eat bacon right now, I have lost 20 pounds as of this morning, so there's that. But enough about me. Let's talk about Exclusively Games, the website that dedicates itself to just talking about games and gaming news and not pushing a political agenda. Yeah, that one. If you enjoy these videos, you should definitely check out the website at exclusivelygames.com. There are fantastic articles by talented writers posted every single day. Exclusively Bacon, Games is a not-for-profit venture that relies on its readers to keep it going, so go check it out. Link is in the description below. That said, let's get into why everyone's here. For this week, we have Respawn Entertainment responds somewhat viciously to critics of the new Apex Legends microtransactions. The developer of Darq discusses how they turned down an Epic exclusive and Epic refused to allow them onto the storefront, and Steam accounts are being stolen through a free game scam. And now that we're all queued up, let's get started. Monetization within video games has taken on a startling number of different faces over the course of the years, but none more hotly controversial in nature than the in-game loot box. A mechanic that many gamers dislike in the extreme, throw it into a game alongside a brand new in-game currency, a separate store with which to spend that currency, new loot boxes, and then make the new items a timed event, and you have the Apex Legends Iron Crown collection. Now, this collection has been deemed to be not pay-to-play, but pay-to-pay when it comes to the collection's new Raven's Bite. In order to obtain this item, one must first unlock all 24 of Apex's new crown items, which must be purchased through Iron Crown packs. These Iron Crown packs cost 700 Apex coins, or roughly $7 a piece, and when factoring in the 2 and only 2 packs that can be obtained through gameplay, one would still need to purchase 22 of these packs, which would be a minimum of $160 if one purchases the largest bulk rate on Apex coins, which is 18,200. Per PC Gamer, quote, then you'd have to scrounge up an additional 700 Apex coins in order to acquire the Raven's Bite, which is 3,500 coins, effectively $35 by itself. Taking advantage of coin discounts, $170 is the least amount of money you can pay to get this digital hatchet and the other 24 items in the Iron Crown collection. As one might imagine, the backlash for such a monetization model was not at all well received by fans, which has resulted in a bit of a schism developing between fans and Respawn Entertainment developers. On Saturday, it appears the developers decided to walk back the Iron Crown items being only obtainable through loot boxes and could be obtained through a weekly rotating direct purchase. However, the heirloom weapons are not included in this direct purchase rotation. Respawn's project lead, Drew McCoy, seemed to be at the center of the battle between developers and gamers, as he himself responded in a rather unprofessional manner in a series of now deleted responses on the Apex Legends subreddit. Among them were responses such as, "Hey everyone, found the deck I was talking about. Guess what? I didn't even read your comment except for the first sentence and the last. This kind of garbage doesn't warrant a reply, but lucky for you, I already made a comment about this earlier. Go find it." And additional screenshots of McCoy's responses on Reddit showed him saying the following: "There is a wealth of data available on how monetization works in free-to-play games, and we ourselves have run tests by putting skins on sale in the store. The amount of people who spend is crazy low. Most of y'all are freeloaders, and we love that, and a change in price doesn't move the needle. And also, I've been in the industry long enough to remember when players weren't complete asshats to developers, and it was pretty neat. I forged a bunch of long-lasting relationships from back then. Would be awesome to get back there, and not engaging with toxic people or asking how high when a mob screams jump is hopefully a start." And the Reddit user Cool Oats seemed to sum up the underlying outrage at McCoy's responses rather well in this post, in which he stated, "You committed the ultimate cardinal sin. You got personal. You, as a team of professionals trying to make money, got personal. You got personal and decided to insult your player base, calling us asshats and freeloaders. Not a wise move. We won't forget this. You've set a new tone for the kind of interaction we'll be having with you. It's a cold one where there aren't any illusions about the reality of the situation. Previous notions of family are dead. We are mere consumers to you, and that is obvious. You have chosen to bring in a new era of hostility and bitterness. Well done. Great PR move. The debate surrounding monetization will remain for a long time to come in both paid and free-to-play games like Apex Legends, and if I could be allowed a bit of personal opinion here, the underlying community anger is not from the fact that Respawn wants to sell digital goods to make money. It is a free-to-play game after all, but the frustration is when the microtransactions become macro transactions and only purchasable through loot boxes as they originally were here. Either way, the outrage has caused a minor course correction for Respawn with Apex Legends and future monetization. We'll see what happens in the future. For our next story, and probably for the first time ever, I was actually planning on reporting on a topic that the Exclusively Games website already covered. Jack Lindsay wrote up a very good article discussing this that, while I will not be using his article for any source material, I think he did his usual excellent work, and I recommend you all go check that out as well. I'm of course talking about Darq, an interesting horror puzzle game currently out on Steam for $20. The reason why Darq's developer Unfold Games has been making a bit of a splash with this title is because he is one of the few developers that actively refused an Epic Store exclusive. In this Reddit AMA, Unfold Games had the following to tell people. Early in development, Darq went through Greenlight as top 10 most upvoted titles, which attracted attention of a lot of publishers. After long negotiations, I rejected all of them and decided to do it without publisher involvement. This story ended up being one of the most upvoted posts on Reddit. Before the launch, I got an exclusivity offer from Epic. I turned it down. It was days before Ublitz announced Epic exclusivity. You're welcome to ask about my reasons. This is my first game, and I started from scratch without knowing anything about coding, modeling, animation, texturing, etc. I spent over 3.5 years trying to become very good at those things. There were many 100-hour work weeks in this journey. And within that AMA, he also said, Epic reached out to me right after I released the trailer announcing Steam release date. At that point, Darq was in the top 50 most wishlist games on Steam. I felt going for an exclusivity deal would show that my word means nothing, as I had promised the game would launch on Steam. Besides, Darq Page was on Steam since November 2018, and a lot of people patiently kept it on their wish list since then. I thought it was a bad idea to disappoint all those people and prove to the world that my announcement meant nothing. Epic made it clear that they reached out to me with an exclusivity deal. I politely turned them down before we had a chance to discuss any details, money offered, etc. I asked them if they would be willing to sell Darq non-exclusively, and they explained that at this point in time, it's not something they can do. It was a polite and professional exchange. I have nothing bad to say. It just wasn't the right fit for Darq. And it is that information that Epic Games was interested enough in the game to offer an exclusivity deal, but had no interest at all in the game if they could not prevent it from being sold on other platforms, that has caught people's attention. The most commonly expressed motive behind this is Epic Games is only interested in titles they can keep out of Steam's hands in order to more quickly supplant Steam as the preeminent PC games distributor, and given what was said here by the Darq developer, that is a likely scenario. Darq is available on both Steam and GOG and currently enjoys a very positive user review score on Steam. Our final story involves Steam and a newly identified attack vector for bad guys doing bad things to get a hold of your Steam account. Now, I was notified about this issue by a viewer on Twitter, but at that time I had no way of confirming if this was a one-off or if it was a more widespread issue, and so I put it aside for a couple of days. But as it turns out, this may be a more widespread issue, and as such, people should be made aware. And the vast majority of the legwork has been done by Lawrence Abrams over at bleepingcomputer.com, so I do have to give him a tip of the hat for compiling all of this information and actually running through the process with a test account to see what happens and why. And all of this happens once the attacker hacks a Steam account and gets a hold of it. They then send messages to that account's Steam friends list with a link to a website stating that the site gives away one free Steam game with a special promotional code. When one clicks the link, they're redirected to a scam website that pretends to be a giveaway. When one clicks the roll button, the site will randomly select a title from a current list of popular games such as PUBG, CSGO, Assassin's Creed, and more. The site will then say that you need to log in to Steam in order to claim the key. And here's where it gets tricky, because I myself have already seen people say, enable two-factor authentication and you won't have to worry about it, which is very much not the case. When one clicks the login button, it will show a fake single sign-on login page that looks like it's from Steam, but it is actually the scam site. Once one enters their credentials, the site will actually use those credentials in the background and attempt to log into the user's account. If that user has SteamGuard two-factor authentication enabled, the scam site will pop up an additional window just like Steam would and prompt for the 2FA code to be entered. This allows the scam site to bypass your two-factor authentication and gain access to your account. Once logged in, the scam site runs an automated sequence of commands that immediately changes the password, changes the associated email address, and changes the associated phone number all in one go. From there, the attackers will then spam all of the people on your friends list with the same free game scam link. The attackers will also steal or trade away any items in your account's inventory, which could be extremely lucrative if they happen to get a hold of an account that regularly engages in gambling economy video games such as PUBG or CSGO. A Bleeping Computer tested this scam site and verified the attacker in question is from Russia and was using the IP address that is on your screen now. However, those are subject to change all the time. Thankfully, you can open an account recovery support ticket to regain control of your account. However, bear in mind that per Steam's policy, they will not restore any items that were stolen from you. But that's all the time we have for this week's Line of Sight, so thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and if you want to hear more of me, I've been told recently that I apparently have a very attractive voice, you can do so by visiting my YouTube channel over at youtube.com/SidAlpha. This past week was showing a notable lack of content due to the day job, but we'll be rectifying that this week, so I hope to see you there. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am Sid Alpha, and I'll see you next time.